See if anyone chimes in from Facebook today. Okay, welcome to Creating Comics. I'm your host, Chad Harden. With me today is Dev. Dev, you want to say hi?
Is that where I say hi?
That's where you say hi.
Hey, everybody. Ringo couldn't join us today, so it's just me.
Ringo's out in nature. Is that what it sounded like to you?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. They said there was no Wi-Fi connection. That's the assumption that I'm making. We'll count it as betrayal. I'm teasing. I hope they're having fun. So, all right. Sorry, I had to take a sip of today's sponsor, which is Earl Grey Tea, brought to you by Captain Jean-Luc Picard. Jean-Luc, whenever you need something done in the Federation. Anywho, okay, so where we last left off, I think we're doing, correct me if I'm wrong, no, we did Godzilla, that's what we were doing. So I haven't shown pages in a while from Death Watch. Is that right, Dev?
Yeah, we haven't seen Death Watch in a bit.
Okay. So here, I got 2 finished pages of Death Watch. We could probably watch the movies, but I don't know if the movies are internet safe. So maybe we'll watch them some other time. Anyway, this is how the last page that we were doing on the live stream turned out. It's a little gruesome. It's not the completely 100% finished page because I do take them into Photoshop and add things like gutters and backgrounds and things like that. But pretty darn close. This is as finished as it gets in Procreate. Here, I'll double tap that so we can get in some of these details. Stole that one from Alien. I did the. Did I ever tell you that I did the video game packaging for Alien Colonial Marines for? Can't remember which platform. Anyway, I did a ton.
You did not. Yeah, you did not tell me that. I knew you did what, God of War and something for Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, I did a lot of video game. Let's see, art the uptime began. I don't know what that means. Live online under the game art. The uptime begin. That's weird. Anyway, so yeah, I used some of the inspiration came from some of the comps that I did for that game that never got picked up. And then obviously everyone's hallucinating before gruesome vampiric death occurs.
Oh my gosh, I'm trying to watch the stream.
Yeah.
And there's ads, and then the ads finally ended, and then it said stream. It said for me, the stream player stopped working.
Uh-oh.
But that's not for everyone. That's just for me. But it says click here to reload the player.
Uh-oh.
So I do it, and then it plays another ad, and so I haven't been able. Okay, now I can see your pages.
Okay, good. So this was the panel that Ringo was worried about. I thought it turned out pretty okay. What do you think? Too risque? This is the one. See, this is the one I think would bother people. Right? Just getting eaten. But this is the one that worried Ringo. I don't know. Anyway, turned out fun. And then this was a commission for Red Sonja that I thought turned out pretty nice, so I'm going to turn it into a print. Can you see that, Dev?
Ooh, yeah.
You like that?
Set Copics and then sort of enhanced digitally, or?
Yeah, all drawn with Copics, all done by hand, and then I basically cooled down the background, took out the logo, and then added just sort of these swirly bits up top, because that's where the logo goes. And then anyway, thought it turned out okay. Sort of a weird composition, but I'm pretty happy with the way Red Sonja turned out. So we'll see what the fans on the socials think. And then you guys haven't seen any of this page, I don't think. Not even the comps. So this is a continuation of the last page. So basically, the more people he eats, the more human he becomes. So right now he's almost 100% human. And then
So is he like draining their life force, or is he
Absolutely.
just kind of skinning them?
No, he's draining their life force. He's sucking them bone dry. But so the idea though is like he's been asleep for hundreds of years or whatever, thousands. We should call Jared. I don't know if Jared's on. We should let Jared know that we're doing this. But so in order to sustain, he has to basically eat everybody in the room. So this is everybody in the room getting eaten part 2. And this is the last page that'll go in Artist Elite issue number 3. So the first 8 pages will be in that, and I'm excited. So we're going to be in 3, 4, and 5, and then Death Watch number 1, where we'll take all the pages that were in issues 3, 4, and 5 and put them together, and hopefully everyone likes it. Everyone keep your fingers crossed. I hope they like the art and the story. I think we're having some fun right now, but never can tell. And then obviously this last week was Comic-Con San Diego. Dev, you ever been to?
No, only New York Comic Con.
Well, I actually like New York Comic Con better than San Diego. But I heard, have you heard this, that they're going to make the Artist Alley tables the same size in New York as they did in San Diego? Have you heard that?
Not heard that.
That's the rumor I heard. I don't know if that's true or not. But
So is that bigger or smaller?
Smaller. San Diego tables are only 4 feet wide. That's it. And
really?
Yeah, normally a small table is 6, but most tables are 8. And then if you get 2 tables, it's 16. And a lot of shows, 2 tables is actually an option. Like there's some artists that have to require, for them to show up, it's 2 tables. So we'll see how that goes. But I just want one good table in a good spot. Last year it was really weird. They had the whole downstairs was the Artist Alley. Mm-hmm. But then there's half the room that was super well lit and bright, and then the other half of the room was almost like a dingy casino in Vegas, just poorly lit and sort of off to the side, and psychologically no one wanted to be on that side of the room. The other side of the room packed. Big bright open ceilings, and then the other half of the room low ceilings, dark, smelled like old building. You know what I mean? So anywho, so San Diego, here's some of my favorite commissions from the show. I spent a ton of money there on these new paint pens that I really dig. So anyway, maybe I should do some commissions and highlight them. This is a Nightwing. I thought this one turned out pretty well. Haven't cropped the photo yet. There's my lovely hand holding up someone's sketchbook. But I do think this Nightwing turned out all right. Pretty happy with it. This one got put up. Now this was actually a commission from Dallas that I finished in San Diego. But I thought it was fun because it's 2 books side to side, Chewbacca and Han Solo. So you can see up here, Dev, where those new paint markers allow me to sort of paint over some of the logos and whatnot, give me a little bit of transparency. I dig it. So
I really want to try those Posca acrylic markers.
you know, the markers that I got, they feel a lot like that, but they have like a felt tip, so it's like a brush tip
Oh,
rather than the hard nib. So we'll see. We'll see. I like them better than the Posca, and they have much better colors. So, but they're not as thick, so I imagine the paint will dry up pretty quick, especially if you use them a lot. But anyway, and then we have this little sticker, the Demon Girl. Debbie, you want to tell people about that?
yeah. I mean, as you guys saw before, I was working on a little comic, and I decided to take a little break from it and come out with this sticker.
Which
And
I thought turned out
yeah.
nice.
Oh,
Oh,
Mecha Jared's here.
Jared's on, asking how's it going. We had questions, Jared. You weren't here to answer them. We're very disappointed. I'm teasing, but only sort of teasing.
Yeah, we want to know how old the vampires are. Is it 100 years, 1,000 years, 11 minutes?
We'll wait for his typed response. Oh, and that's it. So those are my favorite. I did more commissions. I think there's some reason I didn't bring them all in, but those were my favorites of the show. So, and then of course I have a couple more to do, and I could actually work on that. You know, we should work on that. Why don't we work on that, Dev? Darius, yes. Jared. Let's see. Or was there something out here? I can't remember. Nope. Oh, I could work on. You know what? Let's do that. Let's work on. Oh, you know what? I can't. That might be NDA'd. So let's do the commission. Let's see. Let's go back into our stack. We'll hit new. Comic paper. No, I'm going to do new comic blank 2K. There we go. All right. So I have this idea for a pinup. And it involves the 1969 Batmobile. Do you like drawing cars, Dad?
Not particularly, no, but I don't think I've done it enough to really even have an opinion.
So when I did advertising, there's so many things that like I'd never drawn before ever, and I got the job in advertising because what happened I was actually working in video game development, and the developer lost funding for the job that we're doing. And so I was doing freelance. At first, I was doing freelance, and then later I went and did in-house. But at first, I was doing freelance for this advertising company, and they had all these video game accounts. And I remember he'd come up to the boss would come up to me and be like, "Can you draw this? Can you draw that?" And I was just, my answer was always, "Oh, sure." You know what I mean? Like, yeah, oh, no problem. You know, had no idea how to draw any of it. Had never drawn it before, but I was like so scared that, you know, I'd get fired if I said no, that I just sort of said, "Yeah, sure, I can do that." And then just, you know, rushed off, got reference, Anyway, we had an account. We had an account for Hot Wheels,
Mm-hmm.
and I basically same thing happened. They're like, can you draw a race car, funny car? I'm like, oh yeah, no problem. Never really drawn that many cars before. I mean, I'd drawn cars, but not when they were like the thing that you're supposed to be selling.
Yeah, it's a bit different of a context, I guess.
Yeah.
The stakes are higher. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of why, I don't know, I feel like if you can draw comics, you can kind of draw anything because when you draw a comic, you kind of have to draw everything.
That's so true.
I mean, and, that's true. Like, I guess 90% of the time, I guess it always depends on what kind of comic you're doing. You can get away with a comic that doesn't have any boundaries, like a newspaper strip, I guess. But I guess when I say comic, I mean the stuff in a traditional sense.
Yeah. Well, and when you are drawing a comic, that's going to your editor at that point and saying you don't know how to draw something, it's really not an option.
Yeah.
You just sort of have to bite the bullet and get it done. So the idea for this would be that Harley, Ivy, and Batgirl would have stolen Batman's car, and they're like taking it for a joyride.
I heard there's going to be another season of the animated Harley show.
Oh yeah. No, that show's doing really good. It was really weird. It was weird going to Comic-Con. Like, first of all, I would say attendance was down. Let's see what Jared's saying here real quick. Starts out in 1367, then goes way into 1860. So at that point, Darcy would at least be over 500 years old. And then, hey Chad, thanks for another lovely stream. You're very welcome. Second? Not really. People who draw comics drink draw realistic people. JD Smith, always here to bust balls. We miss you, JD. And then, speaking of comics, did you get my Jared, I just got the email. So as soon as I'm done streaming, I'll come in and take a look. But we definitely need to get that to Zen for Artist Elite. So here's my dilemma with this. I can already tell that this body's too short on this car. So let's go ahead and let's do a little bit of whoopsie. Digital chalk block. There we go. A little bit more hood. And then we'll just fill in the gaps. I can't remember, did the original Batmobile have like a blower on the top? Can't remember. I mean, at one point in time, I'll have to look up reference, but not during the comp phase. I don't like doing it when I'm trying to just sort of plan things out.
Now, Chad and I talked about potentially going through Clip Studio today.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we should be drawing this in Clip Studio. But now, Dev, if I do that, can you at least like walk me through like how to create brushes and all that?
You should be able to just import your Photoshop brushes.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah, I think they actually recently came out with an update where they're like, oh yeah, you can do what are they .abr files. So every update they come out with less of a reason to use Photoshop.
I like it.
I'm just waiting for them to update the text tool so that it's not so laggy and that it's as good as Photoshop's, but we'll see. That's seriously probably my one complaint with the program.
Well, it's so funny because like I don't do lettering. I always farm that off to somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think maybe it's one of the reasons why it's laggy is because you're doing it on like a layered file, or are you doing it on a flat file after you've
Oh,
made the first page?
So I mean, this is stupid, right? I'm stupid for doing this, but I once used it as a what am I trying to say? I once sort of, I guess, kind of used it as a Word document, so to speak, just to type something out. And after I got through like a paragraph of text, that's when it started just kind of yelling at me.
Yeah. I would not use any graphics application as Word document.
Well, the thing is, you do it in Photoshop, it works just fine because it's pretty optimized, but I don't know, it's just not quite there yet with Clip Studio. Did I tell you that I made my own brush for Procreate?
No.
Because I don't know, I'm so used to Clip Studio, and I was so like I think I don't know, there weren't any inking brushes that I liked in Procreate. I think all the other ones are just fine, but as far as inking goes, like I tried, downloading some free ones, and I just couldn't really find anything I liked. And so I was like, I'm just gonna make one that acts like the one that I use in Clip Studio. Because, Procreate doesn't really have that compatibility where you can just put in Photoshop brush files and Clip Studio brush files. Well, maybe you can with Photoshop, but you can't do it with Clip Studio brushes, so it's a different file format.
Is it?
Yeah. It's like PBR or something.
I wonder how that works. If it's like a file that Photoshop created, do they have to make it compatible for other applications? That would sort of be weird, I would think. Let me go back to this. Let's see, Justin trying to figure out how much of a sicko Bruce Wayne is. Let's see. Since Batman made this car, do you think he always intended on grooming a young lad into being it's funny. There's a lot of speculation on this subject matter, and keep choosing the wrong eraser. I think it's pretty safe to say, though, that some of those early comics, they were either extremely naive, or it was as much as I hate to use this term, it was queer baiting. So the jury's out, but maybe, just maybe, that's what people intended, but society doesn't let them tell their stories because they're afraid of whatever, whether that be sales or just social backlash or whatnot. But it's pretty apparent if you read a lot of those old Batman comics that Batman and Robin were pretty close. And for whatever reason, I'm hating this Catwoman head, so let's... Looks like it's coming out of there. We go. It's one of the things I love about working digitally. It's like, oh no, I don't got to erase. Figure out what each one of the sirens would be doing. Let's see, hold on, I gotta read JD's comments here. Yes, it is the Adams West Batmobile because that's the coolest one. Jared, it's been a while. Adam's been dead for a while, man. Does Batman ever let him try? That's a great question. Pretty sure Nightwing is driven. I'm not sure if the current incarnation of Robin gets trusted with moving vehicles, but I don't know. I can see Batman getting really irritable driving along the road. Last one, JD. Too soon. Too soon. It's only been 70 years. So Dev, have you watched any of the Comic-Con footage? The Hall H?
I have not.
Nothing, huh?
Nope.
No one.
What do I need to know?
Well, oh, Crystal's on here. Hi, Crystal. Crystal was at San Diego cosplaying some type of Sailor Moon outfit. I'm not exactly sure which. It's good seeing you there. Oh, so I'm used to going to San Diego Comic-Con. The last time I went was before this show was, I think, 2019. And it was so packed that you couldn't even walk. You just sort of had to get behind someone and shuffle and hope that they didn't stop moving. And I want to say it almost felt like this year there were less than 100,000 people there. Now, there was probably more than 100,000 people there, but it felt like less than 100,000 people there. And I have no idea if this is true or not, but I'm going to say it anyway. Because I would like someone to tell me if it is true, because I think it's a good story if it's not. That the reason why it was so sparsely attended is because they were doing the COVID testing at the door, and 50,000 people tested positive and couldn't be let in. I don't know if that's true or not. But I will say this much: it felt like a Comic-Con in the '90s. It did not feel like a Comic-Con in the 2020s because it just felt that much less of a crowd than what it normally brought in. So,
Interesting.
yeah. It was Sailor Venus that Crystal cosplayed. I am not familiar with Sailor Venus. I did not watch enough Sailor Moon. I need to go back.
I can really admire cosplayers because I don't know. It just like obviously anything creative takes a lot of work, right? But I don't know. There's something about cosplay where I'm like, oh, this looks like just so much work and confidence and all that.
Well, Crystal's the real deal. It felt busy but wasn't miserable. That is a perfect description of what Comic Con was this year. It was busy, but not miserable. Matter of fact, I think they should cap the attendance to that number because it felt good. I have no idea what sign Ivy's going to be holding up, but she's holding up a sign. Okay, now the idea was to have Harley on the front. I should have drawn this on a separate layer. I'm going to go back and do that. And that way, if I want to make changes, I can. Bitcoin. JD Smith, are you having a conversation that I'm not aware of here? Show us your blank and then buy Bitcoin. Oh, for the sign. For the sign, I get it. Yeah, alright. It just dawned on me like 5 seconds and then I read it. Yeah, okay. Probably not buy Bitcoin. DC movies suck. Changed my mind. So what do we think about the Ben Affleck coming back to be be Batman?
I don't have an opinion either way.
I actually like Ben Affleck as Batman. I think physically he's probably one of the most convincing Bruce Waynes I've seen.
That brings up an interesting question. Who do you think of the mainline Spider-Man movies we've gotten? Who's been your favorite actor?
I tell you what, man, like watching the new movie, I think Garfield made me tear up the most, man. That can we talk spoilers? I think everyone's seen this movie by now. No Way Home.
Yeah, let's talk spoilers.
Yeah, I can't imagine how you could get mad at us spoiling at this point, but when he saves MJ from Green Goblin, but he actually saves her instead of the whole Gwen Stacy scene where she dies. He tries to save her, but she dies. That was pretty emotional, man. That was pretty emotional. I would also say that I think Tom Holland is amazing, and I probably like those movies more. But I would also say that Spider-Man 2 with Tobey Maguire, is that his name?
Yeah.
For some reason that's I guess Jerry Maguire is the Tom Cruise film. I think he's probably my favorite to watch. But I think they're all good. I think it's good casting. I don't know if I like the whole I don't know if I like the whole we're gonna use the multiverse to like fix everything.
Yeah, I've never liked in any form of media, whether it's comics or movies or whatever. I've just never been a huge fan of the whole concept of multiverses and time travel. It just makes things so messy.
Yeah, time travel's a hard one to really wrap your head around. Um, yeah, I'm not saying. I don't know. I mean, Back to the Future is one of the films I grew up on. Same with like.
Well, that's a movie where it's like time travel is part of the plot. I'm saying so it works for Back to the Future, but I don't know. There's just other things. I really like I mean I haven't watched too much of it, but I like the sort of concept of Marvel's What If.
Mm-hmm.
Because then there's not like dimension hopping. There's you know
Right.
I don't know. I think that sort of I'm complaining about it. I think that sort of thing can be well done. It's just you really have to make sure it's done perfectly. Otherwise, it just gets so confusing. I mean the whole thing with the DC universe having like there's this is Earth number 29 and this is the Superman from Earth number 17 or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's like it's a little. Again, it can be fun, but I feel like it's more fun as like a what if sort of thing, not as like you know, I don't know. That's just me though. That's just
Right.
me complaining.
We have Parasite on, and Parasite says this was a take I heard about Spider-Man. Toby was a good Peter. Andrew was a good Spider-Man. and Tom is a pretty balanced in between the two.
I have to agree. I think I feel like I don't know. I feel like the whole point of Peter, I feel like Andrew Garfield, yeah, he was a good Spider-Man, but I feel like he was almost too cool to be Peter Parker. Like I feel like Peter Parker's like kind of meant to be like bullied
And a dork.
and like have his lower lip quivering and everything, you know.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah,
But Andrew Garfield just sort of like skateboards around and he's like, you know, with his camera and everything. I don't know. That's just me.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm also like really simple to please when it comes to movies. By the way, we've had Egg Foo, CFG Games, Allison, all join the stream. So welcome everybody. Glad you're here. And I think at one point though we still got to go into Clip Studio and try and draw in Clip Studio. We're going to bite the bullet. Today's going to be the day, after threatening for years to leave Photoshop.
I will try to make this as painless as possible.
I'm so scared. I can't feel my legs.
I'm scared too because I feel like something's gonna happen. You're gonna be like, "How do I fix this?" And I'll be like, "I don't know. That's never happened to me before."
Well, that's for sure going to happen. All right, let's see. Now, if I do this, let's see if I can just sort of nudge this down. No. There we go. There we go. You know what? I should have Harley like playing a guitar almost like Mad Max style. Let's go back to Ivy. Despite our great sign suggestions by JD Smith. I don't think I've ever lost so much money in my life as I have in like someone saying you should buy Bitcoin, and then just watching it go from like whatever it was to like nothing.
Yeah, I knew people where they're like, Bitcoin isn't the bubble, it's the needle, or something like that, and
Yeah.
I laugh every time I think about that. Oh. That's what we call that's the German word Schadenfreude, right? Laughing
Well,
at other people's misery.
is that what it is?
That's what that means, yeah.
That doesn't sound like fun. They have a word for laughing at other people's misery. The Germans, man. Let's see. Allison says, hey to Mecha Jared. And hi to the chat. Technology and I have a very tumultuous relationship. If something weird and unusual is going to happen to the technology, it will usually happen in my presence.
That's fair.
Says,
I mean,
it says, Chad, your audio volume has tanked like Bitcoin. Oh boy. Is that any better? Say something.
testing. I mean, you sound just fine to me, and I listen to the stream audio. It sounds fine, so I don't know.
Ruh-roh. Oh, it says, sounds like your audio is coming from the computer, not the headset. Ruh-roh. Daggone it.
Are they talking about the music, perhaps, or your microphone?
All right, test. I bet you it's some crazy thing. I mean, I don't know. because Discord did boot me. Let's see. Devs forms. See, but my mic, it says my mic is maxed out. Let's try this one. Is that any better? Uh-oh, now I can't hear Dev.
Well, I'm not saying anything.
Oh, that's...
Re-
Is that me?
it sounds the same to me, and it sounds fine. So, but if everyone else is saying it's too quiet, then
Well, we're also on Discord though.
right. But I can tune into. I've been tuning into the stream, and I can.
I don't know how to fix it, so I'm just gonna draw. I know how to do one thing. And even that, not very well. Just one thing.
Should I turn my microphone down or?
No, they said you're fine, so don't mess with yours.
Right, but if I turn mine down and everyone else turns their volume up, then it's fine.
I don't know. Is that how that works? I don't think that's how that works. Okay, so yeah, that's what JD Smith said. Turn yours down. It says bring the mic closer to your face, like this. Does that sound better? I mean, this thing is like literally attached, like right here. I got this. So the mic would be in my face. Moving the mic does nothing. I wonder if it's like. Do you think it's maybe it's the mic from like the webcam and not my headphones?
It's a possibility.
Oh boy, I'm not troubleshooting that during a live stream. I'll just talk really loud. How about that? Yeah, wrong on. Okay. Oh boy, am I gonna do this on a live stream? Let's see. Microphone. Let's go into settings. Settings. I'll bring it over here.
Here, I've turned my volume down a little bit. How do I sound?
You sound fine to me.
Do I sound quieter?
Let's see, input. Okay, we're gonna test things, everybody. Test, test. That's the webcam one. Test, test. How we doing? USB audio. Which one was... Okay, so we're going to do the whole... Nothing's changing out of any of that. Nothing? That's pretty sad. Test, 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 test. Okay. This... Anyway, this has the best... The bar moves the most when I do this in settings. And that is a change. But it says nothing.
Wacky.
Yeah, I don't know. Desktop audio, mic, auxiliary. What about now? Yeah. Huh. I don't know. They're watching on Twitch. So maybe it's just Twitch. Could that be a possibility?
Well, if mine sounds fine, then I don't know.
It says now they can't hear at all. That's great. Ah! Okay. Is that better?
Sounds the same to me.
about that?
Still the same.
Well,
But again, I'm on Discord, so I mean.
yeah, I don't know. Like I don't know, man.
Yeah, you on Twitch you actually sound even quiet.
You turned it back up. Okay, well. All right, we're just gonna go with it, man. We're just gonna have to go with it. I don't know enough. It's a yellow stream. What? Huh? Welcome to old age. What? Alright. Just trying to figure out where Harley's hammer would be in all this.
So, Chad, I have a bit of a hypothetical for you.
Okay. Could it be the actual volume on my computer? Is that better?
Here, say something again.
Is that better?
I think that might be better.
What was the volume on my computer? No, Egg Foo says no, so. Just need someone with some technical know-how to show up at my house. You know, this is what ticks me off. Like, even if I had it all set up, the second I turn my computer on and off, it's just going to reset, and I have to figure it out all over again.
Yeah.
So. And it probably is like having a crappy mic. I bet you anything if I got like a real mic, and because I don't think I had this problem when I had that big silver mic, but it was really hard to draw with that thing in your face the whole time. So, all right, let's turn up the car.
I mean, I always thought my mic was fine, but then like listening back to it, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is horrible. Like people told me this was fine. Like they were all lying.
Well, it must be a problem, but I don't know how to fix it. Why did that not work? Oh, it did work. Okay. Now you guys can hear my nose whistle.
Oh yeah, I was gonna ask a hypothetical.
Do it.
Um, if you had the chance to be a superhero, well,
Uh-huh.
we'll start out with this. If you had the chance to be a superhero, what would you do?
No.
I think my answer is the same, and probably for a similar reason.
I would take a power, like it, like I would want a power, but I wouldn't be a superhero.
Well, I guess the distinction would be a superhero, like that's sort of your job.
I want to take a time. I want to take a little bit of time to address what JD Smith just said. He said, Chad, isn't that the point of having kids? They're supposed to know how to fix things, technological stuff, and see that's why I had children, because I knew that like my parents couldn't figure out technology after the VHS, and so I had kids because I was afraid at one point I wouldn't be able to figure this crap out anymore. And they are like less technologically savvy than I am, unless it's happening on a phone. Like they know how to like delete all their pictures at once on a phone. Like that's it though. When it comes to computers and streaming, they're completely useless. So so if you have children with the same assumption, right, exactly. Who's the little Dev? Okay. Oh, so that is Dev's sticker. We're advertising Dev's sticker, Jared. So
Yeah. So is the distinction that a superhero is like a full time job, I guess, versus just having powers?
well, I mean, if you're Batman, no, it's not a full time job, but it's a huge part of your life.
Right.
Like I don't even know how like Batman would really work.
Yeah. That's what I was. The reason I asked is because I've been like thinking about it. Like, would I even want? I mean, there's a distinction between you're a superhero versus you have powers. I feel like I wouldn't even want powers because I don't know. I mean, obviously it's super cliche, but like with great power comes great responsibility. It's like if I was not constantly using my powers for good, like I'd just feel guilty and horrible all the time.
Oh, I wouldn't.
And then like maybe I'd be like, okay, I'll become a superhero. But then I would go and do it, and I'd maybe save people, but then I'd feel guilty that I couldn't save more people, and you know what I mean? Like if I had a power, as selfish as it sounds, I'd probably just want a power that benefits me, because then I don't have to worry about like the guilt of not being able to be everywhere at once.
A failed messiah like Superman, is that?
Yeah, kind of like that. Well, it's like you also have to be like extremely intelligent to be a superhero, I feel like,
Nowadays you would.
or even Batman, because it's like
Well, Batman has Alfred.
that's true, but it's like you have to be able to make quick decisions, and it's like being able to defeat a monster without like having everyone else get hurt, and cause a ton of collateral damage. It's like, in all these Avenger movies, it's like the cities are usually cleared out, but it's like heaven forbid they're not.
Well,
Heaven
that's.
forbid, like I'm just 1 second too late to do something.
I think that's why people got like super mad at. Was it Man of Steel where they fought? Sorry, hold on. My alarm's going. Where they fought Zod, and they're just like blowing up everything because it's basically three Supermen fighting.
Yeah.
But honestly, that's probably the what would really happen if three Supermen were fighting in a city. It would sort of be like that.
Well, it's like Superman is one case because it's like he's essentially superhuman, so I would imagine he has very heightened intelligence and heightened reaction times and stuff like that.
Oh, for
He
sure.
can probably do really quick mental math and figure out the trajectory of the, huge building he's about to throw at someone. But
Well, that was my favorite part of Justice League is when the Flash was running past him, and Superman was just like watching him. Like he could actually track the Flash. Anyway, I'm very
yeah, but
easily pleased, very easily entertained.
I don't know. Sometimes I think about what it would be like to be like Spider-Man, and I'm just like, that just sounds like miserable. Like, not because like, oh, I have to like save people or whatever. I would just constantly like, I don't know. It's like he saves people and he like goes to college, and it's like I would feel guilty for having like a personal life outside of being a superhero.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
I
I
would
mean, I
not.
guess there's the whole like changing into in a telephone booth type of thing when you're needed, but it's like realistically, it's not like the movies where it's like you can just be there on time every time.
Yeah, I think they did a pretty good job of showing how that's not really possible in the Spider-Man films. Because that's why he got fired from the pizza job. That's why he was always late. Basically he was trying to do that and it just didn't work out, and he couldn't tell anybody that's why. So no, Spider-Man. Yeah, I wouldn't want to be Spider-Man. Superman, maybe, because flying would be fun. I don't know why I'm putting all this detail in it. This is just supposed to be a comp. So there's one comp. I don't know if I like the big giant hammer up front. But I do like the Harley on the hood and basically like a Gotham City siren theme. I think that's fun. Holy
I mean,
crud.
there's what?
Chad just got locked in, lol. What is that? What does that mean? Let's see. Dev, if you have to ask, you are not ready to fight crime. If you know, you know. Are you reading these comments? These are pretty fun. I would never be a hero. Too much work. Let me fly like 5 feet off the ground at 30 miles per hour and call it a day. Or let me lift like 100 pounds from a quarter mile away with my mind. Okay. Alright. I don't know what lifting stuff with your mind from 100 miles away would do.
Yeah, that's oddly specific.
Yeah. Let's see what Jared says. The one thing I would like to do first issue of Justice League when they had launched the New 52 was when Superman was watching the Flash run around him. Then Superman just lightly flicks his finger and then the Flash goes ramming straight through a wall. I think they had that on Invincible too, but it was a much worse outcome.
Yes. How do you feel about the whole concept of an evil Superman?
I think it's lame. I mean, because people with power are just sort of naturally evil. I mean, seriously, think of like powerful, like every powerful person you know. How many of them are actually good? Right? And
Right.
that's what makes Superman unique. Is he's someone who has all this power and chooses to use it for good instead of like putting people in ovens or anyway. And so the whole paradigm of having a bad Superman, we've seen that. That's called human history, right? It's just bad behavior. It's people doing horrible things to one another, and that's basically the way it's always been. So when someone thinks they're doing something, edgy and like, oh, I'm gonna I'm gonna take this Superman and I'm gonna make him bad. It's like nobody needs that. We need like powerful people that do the right thing, because that's what's not the norm. Like imagine if all the billionaires in the world, like we've had this discussion about like Tony Stark and Batman, but like imagine if if they actually took all their technology that they have in the movies and did it to do things like fix the planet. I mean, let's face it, if you can go back in time and stop Thanos, you know could you feed the world? I don't know. So
And that is why I would not want to be a hero, because I would not want to have to be the one to make those decisions.
yeah.
Because I would feel guilty. I'd be like, oh, well, I went back in time and stopped Thanos, but, like,
But
should I have stopped 9/11 instead? Like,
yeah, or should I make sure every kid has a
yeah, you'd be miserable because you could not possibly save everybody all at once. It's like, at least when you're a human without powers, it's like, okay, like, your limits and stuff, but it's like, if you were suddenly Superman, it's like, I feel like those limits, it's like that it would just kind of kill you inside.
yeah. Okay, so there's comp number one. Let's call that comp number one. And then what we'll do is we'll duplicate. We'll bring it up here. We'll turn this group off. I'm going to get a big old fat marker here. Just going to do a little bit of a size down.
So Mecha Jared says the problem is that the evil Superman trope has become just that, a trope. We need to get him back to being the superhero that's inspirational to other superheroes. I think that would actually be original by today's standards, hilariously enough.
Yeah, well, that's...
I mean, when was the last time we got Superman content? Like, specifically Superman, not just like a Superman type character.
I really have not read that many. I'm trying to think of the last actual Superman story that I read, besides his death, which apparently they're doing again because DC's completely out of ideas. They've already killed him once, and now they're going to kill him again. I don't know. And
Classic.
There's people that are excited about it. And I'm like, really?
I cannot wait for Superman to die.
Yeah, I don't know. So I feel like I need to read some more stories to be, up on it. But I do know this: the whole, the boys and don't get me wrong, the boys is entertaining, but I don't know. I just don't need any more evil Superman. I need Superman doing his job.
Did you read the... So, admittedly, I haven't indulged in either the comic or the show. Not yet, at least. I probably will eventually, but did you read the original Boys comic?
I know I have, but it's been so long. It's all new to me. Have you ever done that? Well, okay, I'll give you an example. Just even with Stranger Things, this new season of Stranger Things, I went back and like watched Stranger Things, from the start. And it was amazing, like how much stuff was in Stranger Things that I just completely had forgotten about. And I don't know if that's just because I'm getting old. But I know that I bet you anything there's a 50-50 chance. Like right now, if we went in my garage and just started going through back issues, I know that I'd have that book in there somewhere. Because I was working in a comic book store at the time it came out, and that's how they paid me. They basically paid me in free comics. So I know I have it in there somewhere, but I for the life of me, I don't think it. whenever I watch the TV show, I'm just as surprised as everybody else. And I don't know if that's because I didn't read past issue 10 or whatever, and now they're on issue 20. I don't know. But all right, we got to stop working on that comp. There's one comp. Let's see. Politicians. I don't even want to touch this. Let's see. I think most men, given a superpower, would relocate to the woods and start their own cult where everyone worships them as a god. Orgies on tap, etc. Politicians. I hope not, but yeah, that tracks. So yeah, Parasite says, I'm barely responsible for my own life. I'm not about to be responsible for millions of lives. That's why I choose you could totally just be like the bad guy and get away with everything. Alright, let's be... So there's one design. What if we did like a Julie Newmar? Allison says, I have a question, Chad. What's the best way to back up Procreate on the iPad? I back up to iCloud. That's the easiest for me. The OG Boys comic is typical Ennis Edge for the sake of Edge. There you go.
That's what I was hearing. I was hearing that the show is actually better than the comic in the sense that, it's still got a lot of the core things, but it's, I don't know, I guess just handled better. It's got more weight to it, maybe. But I haven't indulged in either, so this is all just me talking out of thin air.
I don't remember the comic making that much of an impact. Whereas I'm watching the show and I'm like going, holy poop balls. So...
Well, I've seen a lot of panels where Homelander just straight up says the N-word. And it's like, okay, that... I get that he's supposed to be bad, but this just seems like a little edgy for the sake of being edgy.
There you go. See, that's... Let's see. Yeah, everyone says that no one can hear me, but I don't know how to fix it, so we're just stuck with me mumbling.
Here, I've turned my volume down even more. Are you guys happy?
I don't think that's it.
Well, if what I'm saying is if my voice is as quiet as yours, then they can just turn up their speakers.
Oh.
It's the only solution I can think of right now.
Yeah.
Like I said, you got to be smart to be a superhero. I wouldn't be able to do that.
Maybe that would be a fun comic. Just having a comic about people who all of a sudden got powers and what would really happen. Because I've thought about... Have you guys thought about that, right? Like if you had a superpower, like which superpower you'd pick? DC asked that today on Twitter. And my go-to is always the ability... Well, first of all, immortality or healing factor. And then the ability to freeze time. Because that would allow you to do absolutely anything. But if you just froze time, then eventually, like, you would age, and everybody else would just stay the same. Does that make sense? So, to the rest of the world, it would just appear like you're rapidly aging. You see what I'm saying? So you'd almost need like a combo
but if you
powers.
were immortal, you'd want to wish that all your family and friends were immortal too, because then eventually it would be like Highlander, and you would just get married like 20 times within the course of 100 years, and you would want to die at some point, I think, because you get attachments to people, but they're not immortal, and so eventually you just watch everybody grow up, and then I don't know. I don't think I would want immortality.
Yeah, that's true. But if you could have immortality and freeze time, you could, like, I don't know, be a scientist, find the cure, and then give it to people. Because you'd have all the time in the world.
Yeah, but again, responsibility, intelligence. Like I'd use my immortality to just draw more probably.
Well, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Maybe that makes
Like,
me a villain.
hit every deadline. Well, can you imagine, like, if you're an artist, you just pause time, finish the drawing, and then unpause time? Like, that would be the ultimate artist superpower. But if you're
There's
pausing time all the time, then that's what would make you age, while everyone else, stayed young. It's almost like the theory of relativity.
there's a character in JoJo. He can JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. He has the power. He has like everyone in this universe has some sort of power. Well, not everybody, but anyone who's like in the story. And his power involves like being able to like open you up like a book and write things in there about you.
Like
Which is
Death Note?
yeah, but he could write something like "You're not allowed to attack." Can't, and it's like it's a really overpowered ability. But he's also a manga artist in the book, and he can just like take a thing of ink and like splash it on the page, and then suddenly all of his flats, all of his blacks are done, and he can take like 3 paintbrushes and swipe them across the page um and do like dash lines. But that's not even his power. He can just do that, and he can just like it's just it's so funny because it's like it has nothing to do with his powers. He's just a guy who can do that. He can just ink without doing any pencils and all that crazy stuff.
Well, that's
But
called
if you look at
creativity.
yeah, basically. Oh, that guy.
He was there. He was like two. He was at San Diego. He was like 2 tables away from me. Yeah, second we've tried, but we couldn't get the audio to work. I don't know what the deal is. I don't know. I'll have to figure it out. But it's not going to get solved in the middle of a live stream. Tooth. Well, why would you just write tooth? What is it? Oh my heck! You kids and your avatars. There you go. It's tooth.
This is what we call zoomer humor.
Zoomer humor. Okay.
Yeah. And I could laugh at the fact that oh, Chad doesn't get it, but one day it's going to happen to me. So
that's the curse right there. That's why you never laugh at anyone's physical ailments. Because guess what?
or just laugh at elderly people in general.
I love how I'm elderly now.
I wasn't saying that. You mentioned something completely different. You said someone with physical ailments, so I thought we were just
Wow. So Tooth is my age.
oh, that's not zoomer humor then. I was wrong.
It's Gen X humor, man.
That's just called being with it, I guess. Speak.
Lead speak. Holy cow, that takes it back.
It's weird talking to people who are my age, like either exactly my age or by a couple years, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I grew up on like um the Nintendo 64 and the PlayStation 1." But it's like by the time I played video games when I was young, it was like I was already on the GameCube and PlayStation 2. So it's weird that people like that they are the exact same age as me would have played something from a generation before. It's weird. Well, not that they've played it, but that they grew up.
Well, maybe that's the only game console their parents trusted them with.
That's true.
Like, here, go play this indestructible Nintendo 64 while I play on my PlayStation 3, which if you breathe on it wrong,
Yeah.
it's gonna break.
Well, the GameCube was still. That's back when things were made of Nintendium, as people say. Back when they were built to last. But my Nintendo Switch now, I'm terrified to take it with me places.
Really?
I mean, like I leave it in a case, but it's like you know what's another thing too? I think it's just inevitable because I'm thinking about how I think things were just made of like thicker plastic back then, and obviously, um, with people wanting to be eco-friendly, which is a good thing, but obviously it means there's more hollow plastic.
Yeah.
And I guess cheaper produced plastic.
Non-durable plastic.
Yeah. Here, hold on a second.
Jared, I still have my Atari 2600. We can play it right now.
You can play what?
My Atari 2600. Do you know what that is, Dad?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I just, I was gonna go in, I guess, into another topic of just like, I don't know. I feel like to a certain extent for me, I just have a harder time enjoying older games, depending on the age. I think. Well, here, real quick. Tooth says retro gaming streams are somewhat popular. So maybe we should do a gaming stream, Chad. Maybe you should hook up the Atari 2600 to your computer.
And just play combat.
Yeah.
I think I have.
Find some sort of really old, specific, expensive adapter to hook it up to the computer, and pray that it works. Yeah, Tooth makes a good point. You're usually better with using emulators, exactly.
I don't even want to think of. I don't want to think about trying to get that to work on a.
Yeah, no, don't think about it.
Like, this is stuff I know, and it's hard to get it to work. I can only imagine stuff that I have no clue about trying to get it to work.
Yeah, I was only just recently able to hook up my Nintendo Switch to my computer, and that's like a modern gaming console. I can't imagine trying to find the adapters and.
But wasn't that the whole point of the Switch? Was basically that it was portable?
Yeah, but because we were talking at the beginning of the stream about me doing streams.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually I would like to do streams, but it's like if I want to be able to capture the footage on my Switch, I don't want to just point a webcam at it and look bad. I have to actually like hook it up to my computer. Same with like my Wii or my GameCube. But yeah, what I was saying earlier was that I don't know. I enjoy games from like the Super Nintendo era, but anything older than that, I just kind of have a hard time enjoying.
Well, there's
It's,
they're so basic, man.
yeah.
Like you got to remember, like, oh my gosh, okay. Pac-Man was probably one of the first games where people were just dumping quarters into that thing. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Um, like I look at my Atari 2600, and you got to remember, like back then, they weren't trying to like make people addicted to video games. They were just making games. Like
Yeah.
games nowadays, they're addictive. It's one of the reasons why I don't play. Because I don't get anything. I don't get any work done when I play them. I have to avoid them. You know, so I just work all the time.
Yeah, Pac-Man is definitely one of those games that has aged extremely well.
Well, but you could, you know, you can't. It should, unless you're trying to like break the world record. It's just not going to hold your attention. You know, none of those games were meant to be played for that long.
I don't know. I can still play Tetris for a while.
Oh, Tetris, yeah.
I love Tetris. I was playing it so much at some point that I started like just seeing the blocks everywhere. And, like I would close my eyes and I would see the patterns and the setups and everything.
I
It's
had a
called Tetris syndrome.
I had a nightmare. Oh no! How did that happen?
Uh-oh. I had to wait a couple seconds for the stream to catch up to see
Yeah.
what you were gasping at. Yeah, even though like the NES, the Nintendo Entertainment System, is like definitely way higher levels above like the Atari and stuff, I still, I don't know, the games made by Nintendo
Mm-hmm.
I think are the best ones because they really knew how to take advantage of the hardware.
For
But
sure, yeah.
for me, a lot of it is like sounds as well. Like Atari games, like the loud screeching. It's a little hard, but it's crazy to see like just how far leaps have gone in that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like obviously people now are talking about like, oh, like, you know, ray tracing and realistic lighting and stuff, but I feel like, I don't know, maybe this is me, you know, just being close-minded, I guess, or just old and set in my ways, but I just not, I'm not that big on like realistic graphics. Like I don't really care. Like a game like BioShock
Mm-hmm.
is like totally fine. Like you don't really need to go more realistic than that.
I don't know. I don't know, man. Like, oh, I have not played a lot of Fallout 3, or I'm not Fallout 3, Fallout 4.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I've played all of the Fallout 3 games. You know, I beat them all because that was back when I still, you know, did a lot of gaming.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, Fallout 4 looks so good. And I
Oh,
basically bought this computer so I could play that game.
oh, I definitely understand that feeling.
And I've maybe played. I mean, I could go onto Steam right now and like. I think I actually got up to like 120 hours on it. But like if you look at the hours on like Fallout New Vegas or whatever, like there's an insane amount of time on Fallout New Vegas. Like I probably spent months playing that game. But I mean, honestly, like when you're an artist though, and you're, you know, it's just like today. Okay, so I actually have pages on books right now. You know, I'm under contract on like 2 different books. But if I live stream, I can't work on those because they're NDA'd. Um, you know, but I'm under contract to get them done, and so it's like when you have that type of pressure, then like you waste. You look at playing video games not as like, you know, taking time for yourself. You look at it almost like you're wasting time. And it's, if you can be healthy about it, then, you know, by all means do it. I can't be healthy about it. Like I will play that game, and I'll wake up at like 4 in the morning, like passed out in my chair, but like, where am I at? Because I fell asleep playing the game. I just can't do it at a healthy level. I gotta.
Youth says, "Oh yes, you can stream those things. You just have to have it in your contract. There are several artists that work for DC/Marvel that do it."
Really? Huh. Well, maybe I can go to them and ask for permission, because DC usually DC's pretty explicit that you don't show it until it. So I don't know if they just don't know. I don't know who any of those people are. Hmm. Do they work for DC?
Just letting you know, I'm probably gonna have to leave soon to get
Yeah.
ready for work.
Well, I knew you would. I'm gonna keep doing comps on these, and then I'm gonna have everybody vote.
But real quick, back to the graphics thing. I feel like for me with graphics, it's just like it can get really good to a level, and then it just doesn't really add anything except for more costs to produce the game, more time to produce the game, and that means more crunch for the artists basically, or just anybody working on the game. And I mean, I'm of the opinion that video games should not take years to make and billions of dollars to make. I think that's a real problem with gaming trends lately. Like this is kind of an exaggeration, but not really. It's like I want games to take less time to make and look worse. As long as they're fun.
Well,
That's really all that matters. I think there's a lot of don't get me wrong, the realistic stuff is beautiful, right? And games can really be an art form, but it's like at the end of the day, if it's basically like you're watching a movie, it's like there was no point for this to be made.
Huh. I'm watching Tooth's post. They said that they can post their interior pages. See, so here's my dilemma, Tooth. Like, what if DC just doesn't know, and then I go to Larry, who's like the talent editor at DC, and be like, hey, can I post pages? These artists are posting pages, and then all of a sudden, what happens is DC writes everybody a cease and desist. So, if you read your contract, your work for hire contract with DC, it very explicitly states that you don't show the work. That basically the publisher is the first person to show the work, and then once the publisher shows the work, you're free to show whatever you want. But I don't. Like I said, I mean, I could ask them, but my personal theory is they're doing it, and they're just not asking permission. They're doing it without letting anyone know, and the word hasn't got back to DC yet. But I don't know. I'll see. I'll talk to Larry. We'll see what Larry says. But usually my conversations with Larry, usually if I'm doing something like this, that I shouldn't be. This is what I'm drawing right now. This is all for myself. These are basically glorified commissions. So it doesn't really matter that I'm drawing Harley and Ivy. It's just something for me. But I'm thinking. Okay, but see, let's talk about Jim Lee. When Jim Lee's drawing something, he might be drawing like Penguin or Batman or whatever, but he's not doing it for a comic. He's just drawing to drawing, like what I'm doing right now. I'm drawing Harley. I'm drawing Catwoman. I'm drawing Poison Ivy, but I'm just doing it for myself. I'm not doing it for a book. Huh. Well, like I said, I'll look. I'll ask, but. I know what my contract says, and going off that contract, it's a no-no. So we'll see. We'll see if there's a workaround. Maybe maybe that's not the case. I don't know. But
All right, I have to leave sadly, but
okay, buddy.
so far I think I like this comp a little bit more than the first one.
You do? How come?
It just seems more fun. It's got, I don't know. I mean, I guess you would sell these as what, prints, posters?
Yeah. Well, it's like I said, it's sort of a commission. But
I think the other one would look great as like a cover for a comic. But this one, I guess, just has more of a whimsical feel. I don't know.
let's go.
Sometimes you can't explain why you like something, but just
There you go. Art is subjective.
all right. But I'm gonna take off now.
Okay, Dev, be good. Hey, are we gonna do Top Golf? We're gonna do. When do you gotta go back to school? You gotta go back to school in like a couple of weeks here, right?
In like a week, yeah.
Oof. I don't. You do. But I don't.
You stay, I go. No following.
See, I think if I could think of something better to do than the hammer, I would like. Let's call this one 1, and let's call this one 2. I like 1 a lot better, but I don't like the hammer. So, what do you guys think? Vote in the comments. 1 or 2. Streaming is big business, and there's real science behind it. Let's see. Good mind overlay. Yeah. Yeah, but I'd also have to know how to do it too. Allison says 2. Dev says 2, so that's 2 marks for 2. I mean, does that make sense, Tooth? I could buy all the equipment in the world. If I don't know how to change the setting to make sure that the audio's coming through, it's not really going to do me a lot of good. So, I have to bring someone as there's tons of research on how to do and run this stuff. That's true. There's also deadlines. I know. Yeah, I know. Yeah. I have I have an Elgato capture card, and I have an Elgato Stream Deck for like pushing buttons. Just anyway, come on over and show me how. I'll let you stay the night at the Casa de Jardin. So we got 2 votes. We got 2 votes for 2. Do I have any other votes? I'm gonna do 1 for 1 with changes. I might be beyond help. Let's merge these 2. Well, maybe I'll take you up on that, Tooth, and figure things out. Anybody else want to vote on which one they like better? Come and visit. You come raid your friend. Yeah. Cheers. Like, I don't know how this is all magic ponies. There's magic unicorns and elves inside my machine to make this stuff possible. What do you think, Allison? Oh, we're just voting on which composition we like. This one or this one? I sort of like this one. but I don't like the hammer. I think the hammer takes up too much of the focal point. Maybe I should do one more comp. One for a comic, two for a pinup. Let's see if we can cram one more in. You know what? That is weird though. Pretzel's not playing. There we go. And we could abandon the whole car thing. It's just supposed to be sort of like a Gotham City Sirens piece. That might actually be fun. Oh! Guys, we only have 5% left. Let's see what it says here. So Mecha Jared says you could always have them just leaping in the air, 90 style. The 90 styles means you don't show their feet all like them. And then Allison says, I like those ideas. And then, oh no. You know, Jim Lee was afraid of feet. I don't know why people are afraid of feet. Feet are just triangles. Look, there you go. There's foot. And then the inside of the foot, the arch goes up. So outside the foot, inside of the foot. And then there's the ankle. Ta-da! Pizza feet. There you go. Let's undo. don't think I've ever hated a head so much in my life. Let's see. Mecha Jared said, speaking of Rob Liefeld, have you heard of his podcast about comics? It's really good. If you are serious about streaming your work more, just know that the biggest thing is consistency. Yeah. That's probably my hardest thing, is to be consistent, because right now we stream on Fridays, and I'm almost always, well, at least half the time, I'm gone at a show. And then with Comic-Con, you get back and you're exhausted. But I think maybe the answer to that is to do less shows. So, but right now I make a lot of money doing that. So I don't know. I'll figure it out. Yeah, I'm not looking for a career change. I'm pretty sure I can make more money drawing than I could ever make streaming. But I have no doubt that I could do a better job of just using it to help promote things and get things out there. Wouldn't hurt to have a whatnot page. Trend Chasing 2, like a new game came out and popular. You did some fan art. You can ride the popularity. Yeah, I mean, I thought about that today. I thought about, because I've drawn Super Pets. Matter of fact, Boo was crypto for Super Pets, and that's trending right now because of the movie. But man, to me that just seems like pandering. I don't know. Different audience, okay. You know what? Boo might be trying to get in that door right now, Allison. Because it's probably her walk time. We only got about 15 more minutes. Then I take her for a walk. I will. Well, I will talk to. I would love to like just draw like whatever I'm, working on deadline wise. And lucky enough for me, like everyone at Artist Elite is like, yeah, you want to stream it while you draw, like go ahead. And so they've been really cool about that, which has allowed me to post a lot of my Death Watch stuff, which has been really nice. But I know that DC hates that. And I hate getting calls from editorial because you've done something wrong. I don't know. But I do think it's sort of dumb because I think you're right, Tooth. I think it builds like. Yes, I do. I do know who he is. I love his art. Well, so, Jared, one of the things I was thinking about doing is doing like a whole series of the, Puppet Masters. So I had Harley with, sort of like the Muppets. I was thinking about Ivy doing strings. Oh. Well, that's really cool. But see, doesn't he work on his own stuff, or is he working on stuff for like Black Label? I know he did a Harley book for Black Label. Him and Ivy, or Ivy and Harley. Yeah. See, so here's my theory, Tooth. That cover was for a store exclusive and not for DC. So the rules are different when like a store orders a cover. You can do whatever you want because it's basically a commission. But if DC sends you a contract, I don't think you can. I don't think you're allowed to post it. Not a store exclusive. Okay. Well, maybe he's popular enough that he can make those demands. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. And like I said, the answer might be that he just didn't get permission. He just did it. And if that's the case, that's fine. But that's not something I'm willing to do because I don't want to have that phone call with DC. I still don't like this face, but. eagerly awaiting the answer to this. Even though my iPad might die any second now. Okay, well, I have good news and bad news. This is coming from Tooth. So let's see what Tooth says. Jared says, speaking of homage covers, maybe we could do that Castlevania homage for the second story of Death Watch. For sure. Yeah, I just do it. See, there you go. Yeah. Yeah, they don't care if it is a variant cover. So it was a variant cover. So that means a store ordered it. So yeah. Yeah, like I said, it's different if you're, basically you got a lot more. Yeah. So if it's, basically everything I'm doing right now, technically, if someone bought this image, that's a variant cover. So they're basically on there doing fan art that someone's paying for. So, and that's why. But if I got on here and I started doing pages for DC, I guarantee you DC would be like, big time no. And they would only do it if it got popular. Like if no one, if no one's watching, who cares? But, and right now we got 4 viewers. We'd probably be fine. I've had too many of those phone calls where, Larry's calling me up and be like, okay, Larry, what did I do now? And I don't like that situation. So I can guarantee you that they don't make a different contract for him than they do for me. But it's like I said, what are they going to do? It's just that he obviously feels way more comfortable doing it than I do. But I've had people tell me to stop, which is why I don't, like I said. So You know what though? Now that I know that he streams, I'm different. Well, it depends on what it's for, and you also got to remember, like, you know, I've been doing some of this stuff since back when Harley was like a big thing. So, your popularity, it's not always like constant. People don't always watch for the same reasons. I guarantee you that if I sneezed when I was on Harley, DC knew about it. So, like I said, great for them if it works for them, if it makes them feel comfortable and they want to do it, that's fine. I just rather promote my own shit. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I'm not doing stuff for them all the time anymore. I just I get tired of it. But it's pretty much the same for every publisher. Everybody thinks that they have, well, and there have been times where, people go out and they talk about stuff and then someone beats them to the punch. So, loose lips sink ships, but, that's their deal. It's their properties, and you can either play by their rules or not, so... Yeah. And see, that goes in and out of style too. Is that your timer? Oh, sorry. Yep. That's weird that you can hear my timer, but you can't hear me. Let's flip this. No, sir, I don't like it. It does. It means it's time to walk the dog. It also means it's 5 o'clock and we're over time. I don't think this comp is fleshed out enough to be in the running, but I think I sort of like the idea too. So I might play with it a little bit more. It would be a nice companion piece to the Harley Puppet Master I have. Let's see, walking the dog time. I'm definitely going to tune into Tooth. I'm definitely going to tune into. How do you, gosh, I wish I'm not reading this, or I wish I wasn't reading. I don't know how to pronounce his name. But I love his artwork. Let's see. Is it Stefan? I mean, that's the closest. I I'm gonna look him up and follow him because I would love to digital paint like that. Jared, I'll definitely do that. Stefan Pan. Steph Pan. Steppen. Did I say it? Steppen? Schnitzel sidekick. I like that. There we go. That I can pronounce. I sort of like this one. It needs work, but I do like it. I don't know about the composition though. I'm not leaving any room for a cover. You know, I could have Harley and Ivy higher up there, a little bit more of a V framing. Boy, I've really managed to sort of mung this up, but I'll figure it out. Let's get some borders on it. Oops, wrong layer. Okay, everybody. That's all the time we have for this week. I will come back. I'll show you the progress on this, like with the other ones, at the beginning of the next stream. Hopefully this will be done by then. I'm sort of leaning towards number one. Yeah, the second Puppet Master is definitely a good idea. So maybe I run with that idea as opposed to stealing the Batmobile. But I still sort of like the action that's going on in one. So I don't know. We'll see. I'll let like I said, I'll show the client, let them tell me which one they like the best, and whichever one they decide, that's the one we'll go with. We'll see what they say next week. Everybody, thank you for joining in. If you have any Comic-Con questions, come back to me. Let me know. I'll try and answer them. We had a great time. There are some memorable stories that maybe I don't know if I want to share on the internet to the world, but I'll definitely tell you in person. Anyway, if you like the stream, make sure you like and subscribe. Also, tell your friends. We try to do it every Friday at 2. We might switch things up. Like I said, Jaden wasn't able to be here today because of the time, so maybe we do it when Ringo and Dev can be here a little bit more often. Anyway, that's all we have time for this week. Come back next week and see how the progress shaped out. All right. Thanks, everyone, for being on. Appreciate it. Tooth, nice meeting you. We should talk some on Discord. Maybe you can help me with my volume. Anyway, all right. Jared, I'll be calling you pretty quick here, so you stick around, buddy. We have business to discuss. Everybody else, it was nice talking with you. We'll see you later. See you next week. Bye-bye.